And welcome to tonight's webinar. This is a special webinar for us. You know, Beth Bogan and I have known each other for about 6 years, 7 years, and I met her through a consultant that I hired. Yeah, I used consultants too. That's why I know something, because I hired other people. I'm really spitting out what I got from other people. Nothing's coming from me. And he recommended her so highly. Beth has been an instrumental part of our office for that period of time, running an organization called ACE Chat. And she's working with a lot of our IDS members as well. She's going to talk to you about the importance of chat. Every once in a while, I may even chime in, although I'll probably chime in at the end just to let you know our experiences. So please welcome Beth Bogan. Hi, Beth.
Hi, thanks for having me tonight. We had a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Snafu with my headset. So via phone it is, but that's okay because we're excited to be here tonight. So thank you for having me. As you said, I'm Beth Bogan and with ACE Chat. My sister and I co-own and operate ACE since 2011. We have a wonderful team of women that we work with, and there is absolutely no way we could do what we do without them. They're fantastic at what they do. So our main goal is, what we believe is in creating relationships through chat that offer your patients the opportunity to receive the care that they need, that they deserve, and that they desire, which really in turn makes a huge difference in the quality of their lives and health. What I want to talk about tonight is why live chat is just better for everyone, why it's a win for you as well as for your practice and for your patients, and the factors that you definitely want to consider when you're selecting a live chat company. So you've spent time and effort and energy into some sort of a strategic marketing plan. In this age of Google, everybody's Googling you to find you on the web. Your marketing strategies are driving patients to your site. And so why would you need chat if you already have a marketing plan? Well, because you've got all of these patients going to your site. And then when they get to their site, who is going to engage them? So some of your patients are going to want to call. Some of them are going to want to email, and some of them will want to chat. And by giving all these different avenues, you're really meeting patients where they're at, providing the levels of communication that they need. I'm not a big phone talker. I don't love social media. I'm okay with email, but I will always love chat. And I just think it's a great option for people to, have choices, that you meeting them where you want them to be. Chat is compatible with all devices. It's compatible with laptops, tablets, mobile phones. And then you can also direct your patients away from your phone to kind of free up the availability of the people in your office, because the chat agents can handle multiple chats at one time, but your office team can really only handle one phone call at a time. So you're kind of providing various different solutions on that. So chat is better for your practice. Again, it's going to give your patients the opportunity to engage with your chat company or ACE Chat, answering questions in real time. They're more likely to stay engaged, and they'll share more details about their needs. Google's changing the rules all the time, as we all know, but one of the things that they have changed the rules on recently is that the more time you're on a site, the higher your rankings are. And the more pages that people visit on the site, and it'll bump the rankings up as well. So chat can actually benefit your SEO. I wouldn't say in any way, shape, or form that it is the main factor, but it is definitely going to help and improve that as well. So chat's accessible. Your patients are going to go right on the site. They'll be invited to launch a chat session, and then it's going to give your website an opportunity to go from a very passive experience to interactive. We're going to add that valuable human element, and also we're going to extend your office hours virtually, because my team is going to be there to help answer questions, for your team. This is a actual patient comment, so very professional but very pleasant. More dental clinics, especially specialties, should offer the chat service. And this is just from a comment that we've had in 17, where patients are really starting to understand the benefit of chat. So it is better for your patients as well, because you're going to get that quick, immediate connection. They can avoid waiting on hold or filling out a contact us form. Forms are kind of becoming obsolete in communication. People are kind of getting more aggravated with that. But chat is becoming more familiar, and this is a favorite for people who love to type or text. And then it's also a very comfortable medium for patients to ask uncomfortable questions. So one of the things we are interested in tracking is who's chatting and what age demographics. But one of the research studies that I read recently is it said 18 to 34 typically lead the demographic of people who chat, but over 45% of consumers over the age of 55 have used chat, and the numbers are growing. And I have found that to be true when we are chatting. It doesn't necessarily limit by age at all. People are all over the board, and it's a comfortable medium for people to communicate. So clicking just a button to chat is less time consuming for your patients than going through a form and sharing a ton of information. They can use chat with minimal disruption to their day, and they can type out messages and continually multitasking, as we all like to do. So this actually came through the other day, and I thought this was a super neat comment from one of the patients, from one of our clients in Louisiana. She was so excited that we were meeting the needs of the office-based world, because this gives them an opportunity to chat from work. And I cannot tell you, if I had $1 for every person that chatted from a boring conference call, this is something that they can do at work without, their boss necessarily noticing. They can do it on the fly. They can also protect their privacy, but still get what they need to get done, which is cool. We are also a great support to your team. And this is really something that I would love for more offices to utilize us as part of the team, because truly, for the fraction of what it's going to cost you to employ somebody full-time, you can hire a chat company to field questions and provide support on your existing website. It doesn't have to be a new website. It's a snippet of HTML code that's compatible with 99% of the sites out there. So one of the ways that you can really help maximize the chat feature is to keep your chat team in the loop. So you want to let them know if you've got a weather delay or you're running a Groupon special. A couple weeks ago, there was people that were doing Halloween candy buybacks. And, if there's staffing changes, so you can really just utilize your chat team to just be an extension of your office team. We at ACE are completely HIPAA compliant. Our team is all here in the U.S. Nothing is ever outsourced or overseas. We're just all in-house and are very compassionate towards patients as well. So one of the things that we like to do is help pre-qualify patients, answer basic questions. We can also redirect any Medicaid inquiries, share financing information about cost, insurance, new patient specials. We can share new patient forms. So really utilizing the chat service as an outside example of your team is awesome. And then this is from a patient perspective, saying that they don't have to be sitting on the phone waiting, but the same thing can be said for your in-office team. If we deliver a chat conversation to them, it's going to have right away what the status of the patient is, their need, and they can cut right to the chase and serve that patient immediately, which is another awesome way to support your team. This is a client comment that came through from actually a periodontist that we have in Long Island, and we were just so blown away by this, about our level of customer service that we always want to provide. And that's something that we provide not only to your patients, but to our clients as well. It's just excellent customer service. So chat is also going to give you a better competitive edge. And a recent study of 1,000 websites found that 9% use live chat. Now, I prepared this statistic back in late May, and there are some sources that are saying it's as much as 14% now, and I guess it's going to be, industry specific. It doesn't really tell us which industries they're looking at, but it is definitely growing in popularity. And over the last 5 years, we're looking at a huge bump in online shoppers as well, and being that that is their preferred method of communication. So the other thing that is neat about chat is if your competitor near you already has chat, what's the quality of the chat service being used? So I came across a site and made an inquiry through their chat line. I was connected to a chat bot, got bumped around to, which is, by the way, basically an internet phone tree anymore. Nobody likes bots. And even though they're improving in quality, phone trees can improve in quality, and it's still not giving you that human touch that people want. So I made an inquiry the other day, got to a bot. After 5 minutes, waited to get, it says, we're now connecting you to a representative, and I waited for 33 minutes before I finally hung up. And this is on a dental website. So it is critical to ensure that when you choose a chat company, if you go with somebody other than ACE, that you are choosing a compassionate team that is going to respond to your patients quickly and not make them wait 33 minutes, because nobody is going to wait 33 minutes. It's just crazy. So that it's just competitive edge, not only being on your website, but also being a superior service that you want to choose. We always want to make patients feel comfortable and welcome. And I love this comment about if your entire staff is as wonderful as she was being the chat team, I look forward to being your patient. So that, talk about a competitive edge. It's also going to give you better sales and more patients. So we've known this for years. Chat increases sales. It increases conversions by at least 20%. That's the bottom line. But another report that just came through recently said 77% of consumers says they like to talk to a real person before making a purchase online. Now, so that's going to relate specifically to shopping cart. If you've got a pair of shoes or, something on Amazon or something like that, people love to talk to somebody to make sure that they're making the right choice. But this is really elevated in a dental world or in a healthcare situation where people are going to be exposing themselves personally to a need. They want to make sure that they're coming up with the right practice. So especially patients who are fearful or hesitant or are interested or thinking about sedation, that all this is a huge opportunity for them to engage in a safe environment. They can hide behind their computer screen until they feel more secure. They can ask questions. We can assure them they'll be cared for without judgment. It's just a really neat way for them to feel welcomed into your practice as well. So this is another neat comment about not making them not feel embarrassed and, that ensure that we're going to be able to help them. Another way that chat is better is for shared information. So what we do is provide customized databases, and they are excellent ways for us to know right away what types of treatments and procedures you offer in your practice. Not only that, but what types of financing, at what age do you start accepting pediatric patients? What types of sedation do you offer? Where will they be able to find you? Are you handicap accessible? Does anybody in your office speak Spanish or any other language? So we want to be able to answer as many of those basic questions as possible to make them feel confident and secure in their choice. And then we can also share links through the chat window. So we can share those new patient forms. We can share, new patient specials. If somebody's interested in implants and you've got a great video on implants, we can share that video with them as well. So rather than the patient waiting on hold, especially when they're in the work environment, listening to hold music or your in-office team being tied up, listening to the backstory, this is just an instant connection to a real person that can answer questions quickly and drill down on what the real need is. So, to be able to make a phone call or without making a phone call and do it from a desk and get the information that they need is very valuable to patients and people who are busy at work. So again, we're better at meeting needs through chat. And one of the ways that we can do this is through the chat history. So we can quickly research and review those to access not only the pain points of the patients, but if there's something going on in the office as well. So as an example, through chat, we were able to discover there was a communication breakdown in the office and the team wasn't returning phone calls. And because of chat, we were able to learn that these patients weren't getting responded to immediately. They said, hey, I called and left a message, what's going on? So we said, well, we didn't know that there was a problem. Thank you so much for letting us know. And we'll be able to reach out to you as quickly as possible. There was actually a breakdown in the system. So the office was able to fix that as well. So not only better meeting the patient's needs, but the needs of the office too. So this particular patient said that they loved that they were able to save time by just being able to be connected to the appropriate person. And then chat is also better at providing choices and credibility. So easily accessible via chat means your patients will have more confidence in your company because they'll feel like they're going to be able to get help if they need it. So through this 2017 study, this 73% is the highest satisfaction level for any customer service channel. So they prefer it over phone, over email. And we know social media can kind of be a difficult way to track and keep up as well. So this chat is definitely a great choice for that. And I think just getting the ball rolling for them and being able to feel like they're going to be able to get where they need to be is very worthwhile. So this particular patient said she was excited because she didn't have to be on the phone with her 3-year-old. And I think anybody who's been there understands what that's like as well. Better marketing ROI. So we kind of talked about this at the beginning, but driving traffic to your site, it's a big time commitment. It's a big monetary investment. And how much more useful is that marketing strategy that you have in place that you're employing now if you have live chat to effectively capture those leads? So, and it's also certainly cheaper than a phone call because we're able to manage much of this from the backside of the chat without your team having to be involved at all until it's, really time to convert that lead. And for anybody who's offering online scheduling, we're able to do that right from your site. Otherwise, we can say, our patient coordinator will call back and reach out to you with opportunities and availabilities. So, just another good compliment as to why people like chat. All right, better market expansion. So really, it can help you expand your market into areas you haven't considered possible. So not only from a patient's perspective who's willing to travel, but if somebody is visiting from out of the area and needs help right away, they can connect through live chat. One of my favorite cases was many years ago now, we had a chat come in from Sweden for a client here in Denver. And they were asking questions about veneers. And we could see, now it's with not always totally reliable to know where a chat is coming from, but we could see that she was out of the country. And we thought, well, this isn't really going to go anywhere. But as it turns out, this patient was a flight attendant, and she was an international flight attendant, made trips to Denver on a regular basis. She had a very bad experience as a kid as a dentist, but had researched our client here in Denver, was ready to have a great smile, and actually flew from Sweden to Denver to have a full set of veneers done. So just never even thought that was a possibility. She would have never picked up the phone and called, but because of chat, she was really able to get that done. It's a super neat story. And then it just really, your patients will feel like we're there to help care for them because you've got the chat. Also, better history and documentation. So you can review every single chat transcript in detail. You can review the conversations not only for quality control and support, but you can see the timing of conversations, what was shared, how quickly is the chat team responding, are they providing your patients great patient care, are they mimicking the jargon that you would like them to have in your office. And so much of chat is very customizable. You just have to really reach out to your chat company and let them know what it is exactly that you're looking for, because they definitely want to support you. So we want to be friendly, professional, and answering as many questions as possible via chat. It's also going to give your patients a better website experience. So they can talk to you in an easy, hassle-free way, and that's just going to be something that they feel is humanized and personalized for them. It's also better for providing great customer service, not only to patients, but also to practices. And this is one of my favorite surveys done. 9 out of 10 Americans are going to spend more money with a company if they provide them excellent customer service. People just want to be treated like people in this age where everything is so digital and so depersonalized. When you're able to give somebody extra care and treat them specially, they really take notice of that. So you also want to make sure that your chat company is working for you, that they have extensive knowledge about your practice, and that they are delivering that great customer service, not only to your patients, but to your team as well. This is something that I love to share. The Triangle Family Dentistry is getting ready to open, I think, their 5th location there in North Carolina. And the reason I'm sharing this particular testimonial with them is because it was a 3.5-year sales cycle for me to close Triangle Family. I kept reaching out to them. They're like, no, we're not ready. We're not quite sure that we feel like you can represent us appropriately. And now they love us. We handle a phenomenal amount of patient inquiries for them every single day. And they are great at providing feedback to us. And it's just fun to be able to have worked so hard to get them to come to the chat side And then for them to really feel like we are doing such a great job for them, that's a neat customer service compliment to us. So who is going to be chatting from your site? We kind of talked about this. It's not limited to any particular age range, any socioeconomic bracket. It's not specifically listed to location. People are willing to travel for care if they're able to. It's almost always fearful patients, people who are seeking sedation or afraid of judgment. They will almost always chat before they're able to call the office. And I know Dr. Sheldon is at some point can weigh in with an experience that he had with our chat service and how we were able to kind of, still make his particular patient feel welcomed and cared for. And people who worry, this is a great way for them to just warm up to the idea of receiving great care from you. Okay, so how does ACE Chat know what to say about your practice? And we talked about having an extensive database that we built for you. And I do that through an intake form, a client checklist. And I have a client in Michigan who told me, I'd rather run another Ironman than fill out your checklist. He found it very tedious because we do ask so many questions, but we really want to be able to answer as much as possible right away. I want to know your fax number and where you're located, and if you do frenectomies and at what age you do them, and what age do you start accepting those pediatric patients? What about implants? What types of implant-supported dentures do you have in your office? Because that way we can answer all those questions and build that confidence for the patients as well. Then our team will be able to be a knowledgeable extension of your in-office team. And just a snippet of HTML code goes right on that site to work with your existing website. We work right with your webmaster, so it's completely hands-off for you. And then we are ready to serve your current and potential patients. The timing on chat, once the intake form is completed, we usually ask for 24 to 48 hours on our end, and then we send it right over to your webmaster. We have had practices go live in as little as 24 hours, and usually we see them going live within 3 to 4 days. So it is a very quick turnaround once you decide this might be a great fit for you. And it is really important to keep the chat company that you decide to work with in the loop so that they really know how to support your team with not only information sharing with your patients, but with promotions and things that you have going on. I have a client in Buffalo, New York, who we love working with them. We worked for them for years, but they're terrible at letting us know that there's a big snowstorm in Buffalo, and we're never knowing if their office is closed or not during a snowstorm. So if you can really help loop your chat team in, then not only will your in-office team have a better experience with chat, but your patients are absolutely going to love it because they're going to feel like your chat team really knows what's going on. And it's going to allow your chat team to forge a great initial relationship with your patients too. So what does it look like? This is Dr. Sheldon's site here, and you'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, the live chat icon. We designed these to match your site. Thanks to Facebook, this has become the trend as to where to put live chat icons. So we have kind of migrated from where it used to be in the middle left-hand side to the bottom right-hand side to mimic Facebook, and that seems to be the industry trend. And we will also send out a pop-up invitation, which you can see here, we've circled here in yellow, and it's going to invite them to click to start chat. And this is actually a very critical thing to send out. There are so many call to actions on your website that it's just very easily overlooked. And so we really want to make sure that people know that we're there to chat. Once they decline that invite, we never re-invite them. We don't want to harass them. We want to give them a friendly invitation. But that is a very important invitation to send out to just let patients know we're here to help you. And then if they mouse over that bottom right-hand live chat blue button, it'll pop up and say, live chat, how can we help you today? Click to start. And they have an opportunity to fill out their name, their email, their phone number, and an initial question. Unless it is requested specifically by you, we do not make any of these fields mandatory. We really want to make patients feel like they can give us as much information as they're comfortable with. If you have multiple locations, we can have them select a location that is specific to their needs, and then they can begin to chat. And they can ask as many questions as they want, and our team there's no waiting line, there's no queue, we just engage them right away and be able to help answer all those general questions. This is a chat I had on a Friday night, actually. I did this chat, and this woman chatted in. She said, the dentist can't fix it, my implant's still wiggly, and she was you can tell, help, exclamation point. She was really, really nervous. And so I just tried to acknowledge that she was frustrated and worried. And I asked her about her pain. I was able to share their new patient special. And because it was Friday, they were closed for the weekend, but offered to have the office manager reach out. And she asked about insurance. And I shared, some information about how we were going to be able to help and, the new patient forms. And what she said to me, and this is a typical chat, this is what it would look like, but what she said to me just kind of blew me away, because here I am thinking, I'm just doing my job and being nice to this lady. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kindness. I look forward to talking to the office manager on Monday. You have kept me from crying this evening. And when I read that, I kind of wanted to cry on behalf of this lady, because if you've ever felt desperate like that in your life, and oh my goodness, a smile is such a personal thing, then, I just could really empathize with how she must be feeling. And she found them just by Google. So she Googled this particular practice, and I was there to be able to help her. And I just felt so satisfied that she was going to be able to make it through the weekend without crying. And this is just a very typical example of meeting the needs of the patients and where they are. So you definitely want to select a company that's USA owned and operated. You don't want them outsourcing your chat overseas, because you can just tell when you're typing. You also want to make sure that the company that you select is going to be HIPAA certified and HIPAA compliant. They're friendly, they're compassionate, they're pleasant to work with, and all of that translates over to your patients as well. So again, we kind of talked about this several times, but really put your chat team to work for you. Keep them updated of any changes. If you've got phone line issues, if you've got planned offers, closures, new treatments, especially as new treatments become available. Dental vibe wasn't a thing a couple of years ago. It is now. Laser dentistry has really made big strides, and the implant world has changed pretty significantly in the last couple of years, and things, becoming more holistic minded as well. So just really keep your chat team in the loop on those types of things and put them to work for you. It's also important that your chat team is checking your website daily for functionality. This is something that your in-office team can't do. They're busy treating patients and caring for patients, but your chat team with Ace Chat, we get on every single day, check every single website that we chat for, make sure both the icons are working, and make sure that the site is loading. Side note to you all, and I did not put this in the PowerPoint, but I do want to mention this quickly. Check and see if your website is secure. If you're not accepting payments through your website, it might not be something that you feel is necessary, or even your website, your webmaster might tell you, well, it's not necessary for you to have an SSL certificate. But in the past couple of weeks, we've been noticing that patients are saying, why isn't your website secure? And Google is actually flagging you as not secure in the top left-hand corner. The way that you can know is HTTP versus HTTPS. That S on the end means that your website is secure, and your patients will have better peace of mind knowing that this is a secure site that they're chatting from. So it doesn't cost that much a year to do it. It'll give your patients great confidence. I highly suggest that you check that out and do that for yourself. Dr. Brown, some of you may know him in Philadelphia area. This is a neat testimonial that he gave to us. And one of the things that I really appreciated the fact was he said, it's a pleasure to work with an organization that delivers on its promises. And we at AceChat really want to do that, not only to the promises that you make to your patients, and therefore we make to your patients about the care that they receive, but the promises that we deliver to you too as well, as far as being compassionate and caring and really respectful of your time. And we really want to earn your business. So that is something that we're proud of and that we would love to be able to do for you as well. So the recipe for success, of course, you've got to have site traffic. And then once you add HChat and you really start converting that site traffic, you're just going to get patients. So it's kind of a simple recipe, but it can make a big difference not only to the bottom line of your practice, but to the care that your patients receive as well. So I encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions. I've got a great startup promotion I'd be happy to share with anybody who's interested. And I so thank you for your time this evening.
Well, it's great, Beth, and great to have you present this. And by the way, I think one of the chats was with one of our members, and Steve Brown, of course, is one of our members. So, and by the way,
Yeah.
Beth, we thank you. And Ace Chat is one of our sponsors of the IDS. And we thank you for the support that you're giving us. But the support itself is derived simply because Beth supports our practice so well. And yeah, when you're doing an interview like this, it's what questions can I ask? And when I had a question to ask, then you covered it in the next slide, so I'm not sure what questions to ask. But I can tell you this: Beth had caught us one time when our website was down, and she was the one that told us that our website was down. When we had weather problems, Beth was able to remind us that tell us about your weather problems. Beth has hundreds of clients, and she reminded us to tell her about what's going on with hurricanes or whatever it is, so that she can tell our potential patients. But I want you to look at it from another perspective, and you've heard me talk about this before. When patients are looking at you through a website, of course, they're going to your website. We use the website provider that we do because people are engaged in that website and they tend to call. But at the same time, there's a group of patients, and that's the group of patients that we're seeing. And those are the patients that have been without dentistry for a long time, and they know they need dentistry, but they were burned, and they're looking for the right place to go. They don't necessarily want to go on your website and just call you. They need some kind of an interim method. So do you. So do I. You've chatted. I've chatted. And by the way, I've chatted with services where I had to wait 15 and 20 minutes, and I've chatted with services that are more responsive. When you engage, when you're actually willing to take the step to actually engage somebody, well, a chat is easier than making a phone call to the office. You don't have to talk. You can just type in your concerns. The response from the person who's chatting is what's going to make the biggest difference. And that's what we found out. We found out as a result of the interview that Beth did with us, and then the updates that we've done, that even though Beth nor anybody on Beth's staff, none of them have ever worked with me or have come into our office, but because they can access the answers to the questions so readily, it seems as if ACE Chat does work for us. And works in the office. Now, they can't answer specific questions, but then again, we don't want to answer specific questions. The whole goal is what? The goal is to get the patient to call and come into your office. And that's what Beth is doing. Essentially, is getting the patient to engage, letting the patient get out whatever it is bothering him or her, and then with really a nice direct approach. Not a subtle approach, but it's certainly not a hard approach, but a direct approach saying, Dr. Sheldon is the right office to go to. Here, let me give you, just give me your contact information. And by that time, Beth already has her contact information, gets permission for the patient, for us to call the patient, and we do. And so, by the way, some of these patients, once we've called them, they're not the patient for us. But at least we've gotten into that sequence of getting the patient to engage, and ultimately we make the call to the patient. But the patients who do call us, the conversion rate is very, very, or they do come in through ACE Chat, conversion rate is very high. So, and by the way, Beth's not going to talk about fees right now, I don't think, but of all the things you do, Beth's fees are very, very, very low, affordable to anyone. So you don't stay with the company for, is it 6 years, 7 years? How long is it, Beth?
Well, I'm pretty sure, and I should have looked it up, but I'm almost positive we started with you in the spring of 2012.
2012, so this is after your first year. Yeah, okay,
yep.
You didn't stay with the company that long. and talk to Beth all the time, and I show people how you engage. I'll go into somebody's office and I'll say, hey, let me show you how ACE Chat works. And we start talking, and either Beth is on the line or Joanne's on the line or somebody's on the line, and they say, hi, Dr. Sheldon. Of course, they're surprised to even see it's Dr. Sheldon who's engaging in another website, but they're very responsive, and they're always there. There's no waiting. It's just you type something in, and for whatever reason, I don't know how it happens, Beth already has somebody available so that there's an instant communication. It's going to make a big difference to your to your practice, and certainly is going to allow that patient or give that patient the opportunity of engaging on your website. Once they do, they're not going to go to another website. They're going to call you, and that's or we're going to call them, and that's why it's worked, and that's why it continues to work, and that's why I continue to recommend Ace Chat to you. So ostensibly, we're looking at chat services and how important that is, but if we're looking at somebody who's really been working well with us, Beth and her team has done a great job. So we weren't going to make this into a.
And I do have to say,
I think I've made it that way.
Thank you. Well, I do have to say, I said this at the very beginning, but my team is amazing.
Yeah.
And of the hours that we chat a week, I chat a very minimal amount of those. And I just, without question, know that every single one of the ladies that I have is going to do a great job, supporting you in practice as well. And without them, this wouldn't be possible. So kudos to my team, as always.
I agree. All right. If there are no
Thank
questions,
you.
I don't see any questions coming up. Beth, anything else that we should add before we say goodbye?
No, but I just would love for people to reach out to me if they have more questions so that I can help and just get this implemented and start serving your patients.
Terrific.
That's it.
Good.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sheldon. It's always good to see you.
Same here, Beth. Thanks. And thanks for joining us.
Take care.
We will be back next week with an exciting webinar, and we'll get you that information very, very shortly. Thanks for joining us, Beth. Thanks very much. Good night.
Bye-bye.